How to become unrecognizable as a solopreneur in 365 days. If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering if building a business while working in your full-time or part-time 9 to 5 is even possible for someone like you. So today, I'm sharing the 6-pillar system that I'm using to go from corporate professional to solopreneur, which involves identity shift, skill mastery, business foundation, environmental design, strengthening your mindset, and community. So by the end of this video, you should have a clearer roadmap to building your online business while keeping to your 9 to 5. You don't need to quit your job yet, and you don't need thousands of followers, just a proven system that you can start implementing this week. So the goal is that in a year, you shouldn't be able to recognize who you are now. Your energy should be different. Your confidence should be different. You should have created an amazing first offer by then, or even launched it, or even started making money. And people should look at you and think, what happened? You're completely different to who you were last year. So I'm Ilmana. By day, I'm an optometrist working in my 9 to 5. And on my days off, I began building my solopreneur business, teaching women exactly like you how to start creating from zero and start selling your online course with zero business experience. I'm not some 7-figure guru who quit her job 5 years ago. I'm literally building this in real time, documenting what I'm learning as I learn it, which is exactly why you should listen. Because I remember 2 years ago, I had no clue what a business model even was. So let's move on to part 1, identity shift. The truth is that if you don't change your identity first, you'll drag the same limiting beliefs into your new business, like baggage you never unpacked. Most people, they try to staple entrepreneur habits into their employee identity. They force themselves to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then that doesn't work because you're tired all day. It's kind of like just trying to build a house on quicksand. You can lay the bricks perfectly and then you just watch the whole thing sink. So I call this identity shift the U 1.0 to the U 2.0 transformation. And this is step 1 of my formula, choosing with clarity. You have to choose your new identity before anything else can change, before you even start building your business or think of your business idea. Now, when I first started, I had massive imposter syndrome. Who am I to teach business? And after not giving up and actually proving to myself that I can do it, I made my first sale. And that was enough proof to keep me going. Everything has to come from your new identity. How you spend your evenings, what you consume, how you introduce yourself at networking events. If that doesn't align with I'm a business owner, it kind of just dies. So here's what shifted everything for me. I got my own office space. I was terrified. What would my family think? They'd see it as me wasting my money, unrealistic. They'd just tell me to work from home. But I knew that I couldn't build at home with constant interruptions and distractions. But the moment I got myself out of that bubble and I got that space, everything changed. And when I'm at my office working, I'm not an optometrist. I'm a business owner, and my brain is learning to accept that. That one decision proved to me that I'm the kind of person that invests in her dreams, even when it's scary. So here's your 30-day identity shift plan. Write out who you are now, you 1.0 versus you 2.0, who you are in the future, that successful future woman. Who are you now and who are you becoming? Then start to act like that from now, day 1. Make decisions like your future self would. If she acts confident, you start embodying that confidence now, for example. And document proof daily in your notes app, moments like you acted like her now. And if you want the full 5-step formula, I teach this in a lot more detail in my community. Remember that clarity comes from choice and not certainty. So really stop waiting to feel ready. Moving on to part 2, skill mastery. Once your identity clicks, your capacity explodes. You're clearer, you move faster. But here's a question that everyone asks. What do I actually need to learn? So stop dabbling and pick one skill. For building online businesses, you need, for example, copywriting, email marketing, content creation, basic funnel building, or simply storytelling. Think of these as your weapons. So pick one that you feel comfortable with right now, and then you can stack the rest later. When I first started, I thought that I needed to learn everything before I could begin, and I wasted months just consuming content. And then one day I realized that passive learning is a trap. Taking endless courses, watching endless YouTube videos, it doesn't make you skilled. What makes you skilled is execution. So I started taking action. I started posting content and packaging what I was learning about business, mindset, marketing into a mini course. And then I began sharing my journey. This really helped me understand what I was learning too. And I was actually implementing this at the same time, not just limiting myself to, productively procrastinating and watching how-to videos. So here's your 90-day skill acceleration plan. Pick one skill that you feel excites you and you want to learn. It'll probably be one of these: copywriting, content creation, or sharing your journey. And then stick to that for 7 days. Do a deep dive on that. Courses, podcasts, access free and paid resources, take notes, get clear on one idea, and then create 5 posts. Get feedback from someone, or get feedback from the people that view it and see how well it does. Data is what will help you move forward. Everyone learns and grows in their own time. And you might see results in 90 days, or it might take you longer. But that's cool because you're building, and you're one of the few that are actually building, and 99% of people never even try. So remember that you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be a few steps ahead of the person that you're helping. Part 3, business foundation. So you've got the identity shift now, you've got a skill. Now here's where most women get stuck. They never actually build anything, and you end up staying in learning mode forever. And I was totally guilty of this for a long time. I've broken building your business down into 4 phases. Phase 1, clarity and idea. Choose your focus. Validate that there's an actual demand for your market. Phase 2, know your customer. Understand who you're actually serving. Who is your ideal customer avatar and their profile? Phase 3, design your offer. Build one simple offer. And phase 4, set your foundation. Define your model, your unique selling proposition, and your pricing. Your business foundation is simple. Answer these 3 questions. Who am I serving? What transformation do I provide? And how do I deliver it? So be specific. Who you're serving. Don't just say woman, but for example, you could say female healthcare professionals who want to get fit but have no time. And then what transformation do you provide? How will you get that person that you're helping from point A to point B? And then how will you deliver that? Is it through a digital product, a service, or both? Most women tend to overcomplicate this. You don't need a 12-course module yet. You need one clear offer for one specific person. So I spent weeks and weeks creating my online course, and I thought it was brilliant. And then I showed it to a friend of mine, and they said, honestly, I don't really know what this is for. And old me, I would have completely shut down and just accepted that, okay, well, maybe I'm not ready for this yet. Maybe I should wait. But since I was clear on my 2.0 version of myself, I reframed that and said, okay, which part's unclear? And I got clear on what I needed to do and realized that it was more of a clarity problem. And reframing that failure saved me from launching something to people that would probably confuse them more. So your first offer is essentially just a learning lab. It's not your final legacy that you'll leave. You'll always come back to that and change it and make it better. Your goal should be to create something that solves one specific problem in the form of maybe a PDF guide, a 30-minute call, a 5-day challenge, or a Notion template, or a mini course with a couple of lessons. So here's your 90-day business framework. Month 1, choosing your niche. Do your customer research. Have real conversations to validate your idea. Month 2, start creating your minimum viable product offer and keep it simple. And month 3, do a soft launch to a handful of people. Gather feedback, iterate based on what you learn. And this launch might take more time, more than 90 days, depending on your marketing skills and time you have, etc. And make sure that you track everything, what resonates, what confuses people, and what they actually need. Moving on to part 4, environmental design. Okay, so none of this really matters if your environment keeps dragging you back. Your environment will always beat your willpower. Always. If you wake up in the same chaotic bedroom, the same draining routines, the same digital distractions, you'll snap back to who you were, and you don't want to be her anymore. So this is where I had to make one of the hardest decisions, where I mentioned earlier, getting my office space, and it changed everything for me. The moment I had that space, everything shifted. I could focus and build without any interruptions. That space was mine. So here's what environmental design looks like practically. Firstly, digital detox. Delete or hide apps that hijack your focus. Instagram during work hours, shopping apps, news. So I use Opal, and I'll leave the link in the description to this app. And it basically just blocks all your social media or any apps that you kind of use a lot and distract you. Unfollow accounts that normalize maybe someday thinking. Unfollow anyone that makes you feel more stressed out or, puts you in a worse mental mindset. And lastly, turn off all notifications except key people. Physical space. Create one dedicated corner for business only. If you don't have an office, that's fine. Just find a quiet place somewhere, or even just go and work in a coffee shop for a couple of hours. Or if it's your kitchen table, make sure that nobody disturbs you for a couple of hours. Keep that space sacred. Keep your laptop, notebook, water, that's it, nothing else. Make it feel different to your relaxation spaces from your bedroom where you go to chill. A calendar problem. Block 20 to 30 minutes of non-negotiable CEO time every single day. Protecting your building hours, maybe early mornings or late nights, whatever matches your energy. Start saying no to things that belong to your old identity. So a quick environmental redesign could be spend just one day to delete, unfollow, subscribe from anything that's misaligned to who you want to be and that causes distractions. Create your sacred space, even if it's just small, and begin to automate your decisions. Know what you're going to have for breakfast. Always start work at the same time. Know what hours that you're going to work and block out that time and keep it the same and consistent every single day. Tell your family the non-negotiable work hours and set your boundaries. Replace scrolling with learning, podcasts, courses, read books that are aligned with your goals. And part 5, strengthening your mindset. Your mind is the command center. If it's fragile, everything collapses. And really, this is a whole video in itself. I'm speaking from experience. There are still days, even now, where I question everything. Who am I to do this? I barely have any clients yet. What if I fail publicly? But here's what I'm learning: to surrender control. Real mental strength is not about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. It's about taking the hits, processing them without drama, showing up again the next day. So a fixed mindset will tell you, I failed at launching. I'm not cut out for this, and I'll just give up. Whereas a growth mindset reframes that and says, I failed at launching, yes, but now I know what not to do next time I try. That one thing has been huge for me. For example, consistency at the gym. I know this is a little bit random, but hear me out. When you commit to something, showing up, even on days when you don't feel like it, you're literally training your mind for business too. So every time you choose discomfort on purpose, you build evidence. I'm the kind of person that follows through. That confidence bleeds into everything, your content, your launches, your willingness to be visible. Your internal dialogue decides everything. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm too busy, I'm not tech savvy enough, I'm too late, I'm too old, you're feeding this wrong story, and your subconscious literally begins to accept this as the truth. And as a result, it literally becomes your reality over time. So here's how to strengthen your mindset. Set 3 to 5 non-negotiables you do daily, no matter what. Seek voluntary discomfort weekly. Post something vulnerable, have a difficult conversation, go to that networking event that you've been putting off. And lastly, just practicing stillness for 10 minutes daily. Just breathing and letting your mind settle. And moving on to the last part, 6, community. Who you surround yourself determines your ceiling. If your circle tolerates someday kind of thinking and people that don't really believe in your dream, that becomes your gravitational pull. So when I created space, I just stopped being available. At first it stings a bit, but that space got filled with something better, with people who are like-minded, women who are like-minded and building too. And this is why I built my own community. I needed to create a space where women could actually share their struggles without judgment. So your social media feed is a part of your community too. And every account you follow is a voice in your head. So find 2 to 3 people who are a couple of steps ahead of you. Not the 7-figure gurus, find the people who have literally just launched their offer not long ago, who are still working in a job and who are still growing. These are the best people to learn from. Your 30-day community recalibration. So map your circle. Who energizes you, who drains you, or who's neutral? Join one community of builders, either paid or free, it doesn't matter. Just committed people. Engage with them. Engage genuinely with people a couple of steps ahead of you. Offer value and build real relationships. Protect your building time like it's a client appointment, because it is. So here are the 6 pillars we've just covered. Identity shift. You 1.0 to you 2.0. Choosing your new identity. 2, skill mastery. 1 skill, learn as much as you can in 90 days and try and get paid for it. Number 3, business foundation. Build 1 simple offer and launch it. Number 4, environmental design. Create a space that supports your transformation. Number 5, strengthening your mindset. Build mental resilience for the journey. And lastly, step number 6, community setup. Surround yourself with builders. And this is what I'm doing actively right now while still working in my part-time job. So your action plan this week. Pick a date within the next 72 hours. Not Monday, not when I'm ready, now. And track this progress daily in your notes app. And simply write every day, what did I learn? What felt hard? What was a small win? And audit this every 2 weeks. Think about what's working and what's not. What's not working and what you keep stalling, just adjust that. So the thing is that you can't do this alone. Well, you can figure it out by trial and error like I did. Or you can get help and skip the months trying to figure it out yourself. If you're serious about getting out of your 9 to 5, here's how I can support you. Option 1, a done for you and coaching service. So comment build and I'll send you the details on how I can personally help you build your first digital product with all the back-end tech stuff done for you. Or grab my 7-day email series on how to start building while still working in your 9 to 5. Or if you're unsure on what you need to do, book a free strategy call with me. All the links are in the description below. The choice is simple, really. You can stay comfortable in your 9 to 5 for another 30 years, wondering, what if? Or become unrecognizable in 365 days. So if you made it to the end, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.